Alright, well, we're headed to an auction. As usual, I'm running late, so normally that wouldn't be a big deal at this auction because they usually start with, okay, truck, I don't know what your problem is. Normally they start with small items and things of that nature, and usually that doesn't do anything for me. There were a couple things that I were maybe interested in, but Dad luckily is already up there, so hopefully he can bid on that stuff for me until I get there, and we'll just see. You know, I'm not really going with the intention of buying anything unless it's reasonably priced, but you just never know. So I'll bring you back when we get there, and we'll get on that right after this. Oh, we're almost there. I got behind the world's slowest American, I think, because we've been going at a breaknecking 30-mile-an-hour pace, I think, for a good while. He has picked it up to 45 now, but still, we're on a state highway. Move along. So we'll see what we get into here. I'm sure it's going to be a line to get a number, but we just as well do that first before we look around, because when we look around, we'll find something we can't live without. So let's get parked in here, and then we'll make this happen. Oh my goodness. Every year, I just think there can't possibly be more stuff left to sell, and every year they find stuff. So, yep. Wow. Oh, we've definitely expanded back a little bit here from where it usually is. How many miles away will I have to park? I don't know if I trust going all the way back down to that hill. I'd say we're gonna be in four-wheel drive before we're done here today. I'd say we're getting ready to shift into four-wheel drive. Well, I made it in two-wheel drive all the way, but just barely. Okay, time to get in line. Just tons of stuff. Where's it all come from? Little headless Z. It's gonna be a while before they get to anything I want.
I'm fine on the bid when you get 10, when you get 10, when you get 10, now 10. When you get $10 to the pair, I'm fine on the bid when you get 10, $15. First bidder's out. She's 10 back there. He's 10 back there. 10.
Oh, geez. There's just mountains of stuff. And it's all stuff that I could easily tuck myself into be interested in. I'd say that's all sold that way.
Because the amount of work they got done last time.
Yeah, there's about one of everything here, and probably two.
And I need one marking, one flag,
Build you a trailer.
to the next number. And what do we got there, Sean?
Hey.
You're gonna buy the juice barrel. Buy the juice barrel, and it has a pump on it there. And the other there, pneumatic. It was $100. $100 out of it, $50. $60. It was $20. And the $20, it was $20. On the juice barrel, $5. $5, $3, $3. Number 3, number 3, $4, $4. $4, $5. And the 5, You're gonna buy the blue card. Hey, right there on the blue work card, right there. Hey, Mike Troy, you're gonna buy Troy's work card right there. Give me $10. Give it to 10, 15, now 20, now 5, now 30, 35, give it to 40, 40, now 5, 45, 45, now 50, now 60, now 79,
Hey.
$70, I have $50 now, 70,
Uh-huh.
now 70, and the $70 rate would have been 70, but it was 70 and 5, 75, $80, $80 rate would have been 80, $75 and 80, would have been $80, $75, number 3, 5, you want to bet? Take the blue one, take the blue one, you're going to buy the other one, it would have been 30, it would have been 30, it would have been 30, it would have been 40, it would have been 30, see, want to be 30, I am 25,
Is that a Dearborn spreader? Colby.
5, 35, now 40, and the $40 rate would have been 40, would have been 40, would have been 40, $40 and 3, it would be 40, 39, 40, 40, 40, 45, it would have been 40, 45, 49, 45, $40, our buyer number is.
Yeah, this is the place where that Heritage White came from last year. What do you know?
Is that thing on?
It's on. Got something you want to say?
Not a thing.
Not a thing? Okay.
Good luck.
Well, yeah. I didn't come for anything in particular, but I'm sure I'll leave with something. That's kind of what I
Do you
figured.
have any tires the right size? No, you're putting steel on that set.
On that 70, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, you got lucky. I mean, fortunate.
for the to run, yeah.
Good for you.
That's a I don't know. The 70s seem like they're always finicky. It either runs good or it doesn't. So
Yeah. Well,
that one worked out. The hardest part was loading it and hauling it. So
you're getting that carburetor stuff down pat.
oh yeah, I've been doing one about a day around everything.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing it on chainsaws, so I don't know.
Well, good luck today.
All right, good to see you. I'd say that one set a while. It was probably pretty handy in its day. It's kind of cute, little tractor. Needs some love. Huh.
It looks like it's been sitting for a while.
I know. I wonder, maybe you never know, maybe it does run and they just left her sit outside. I don't know. But
that came from Andy Sawyer's down there in Azalea. I know he had a bunch of
did he have?
tractors sitting down.
Oh, at that place that they sold here a while back.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that one on there, but it's entirely possible. It looks like the right patina.
That old Alice G sitting down.
Oh, did it come from over there?
Well, I know he
had a bunch of them in that. When I looked at the pictures, you know.
Yeah.
And then they called off the sale because one guy bought it all. So I don't know. Yeah, that'd be a good project. There you go.
Sure looks like it's been set.
I don't know what that is. If that's a case disc. Don't want to miss out on stuff on that wagon. Oh, it goes with the Farmall Super C. There's another one of our spreaders. That's the next size up from the one I got. And it's lighter because it's enclosed. They also wised up and put these together closer so you didn't have to make your own thing to clamp it to the drawbar. There's plenty of square balers here if you're looking for one. Landau.
Buyer number 368. 360 the buyer. And now you're gonna buy the selling hose and the pick and the jack on 94.
Now, Tractor Row caught my attention for one thing. Do you recognize it? This here is that little Ford that I owned about a year ago or more, and I sold it to help pay for buying the 500, and now it's at this auction. So I'm wondering if it no longer runs or whether they just got tired of it. But this is definitely 100% it. I put that starter on. Looks like he put a new carburetor on. It had this hood cut out. He put a different seat on it. I noticed that in the pictures, which that other seat was a cluster of sadness. It looks like he's been using it, but she's aged a little bit since I had it. Has the Sherman step-up transmission. Maybe I should buy it back. There's a G. I always thought those were kind of neat. Goofy as can be, but you know, that would be an interesting thing to try to do with it, mow. I'd say it would work all right. There's There's a little IH. It's been spruced up. I wouldn't necessarily call that restored, but it's been colorized. 3000 Ford. A 300 IH. An M Farmall. Some wide tires on that sucker. Those 18434s. 4430. M with a Schwartz axle. Huh. Well, I'll bring you back for some highlights, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna go try to watch everything and bid. I don't think I can keep it everything straight. There's 3 rings going. Look at that wiring job. Somebody was a scientist. I mean, that's beautiful. LEDs, 4-cylinder Perkins, auxiliary valves. This guy must have, I don't know, all those farmer mods, he must have went to Purdue. Another one with the step-up transmission. Probably also a 2-in. And an NAA or a 6 or 800, I don't know. Serial number's usually like here somewhere. And I don't see it, like most of them. So, cool though. If a guy could buy that for parts. It's still got the live power takeoff setup, which mine had and somebody took off. I wonder if it still works. See, it's got a deal driven off the back of the hydraulic pump, which I believe is another pump on its own, and then it sends pressure oil over there to this clutch pack, and then return oil, I guess, or the suck oil is out of this side, feeds it, and then your tack drive's in a different place off that second pump, and then here's your lever to do it. But since he's got new lines, I would bet that it still works. I'm sure though that's a running tractor and you could never have it cheap, but that would definitely have the parts a guy needed to make her back the way she was. We got boats if you want to go sailing. If you want to hear this diesel purr, give the starter 10 seconds warm up, then start. Original engine. No need to buy new when you can buy used. Oh, I know a certain Oliver YouTuber in Michigan that would love this. He'd fit right in there. Yeah, this is about his style. Well, it's going to take forever to get to anything I'm interested in, but such is life. There you go. Wonder who they stole that design from. Oh, look look at that little thing. You rake your yard with that. Somebody bought it. Case. That's unusual too. I don't think I've seen any of them around here at all. Yep, if you need it, they got it. A little bit of everything. Be nice to have another one of those for over at Dad's, but that one's pretty short and rusted, so probably let that sit. Defco. Got a little wear on the teeth, but down in there. Lots of trucks. That's kind of cool. How many of those do you see now? None. An old New Holland combine. Cylinder speed, I think you change sprockets just like the old combines. Can't tell, but a lot of those, did they have a 3208 in them? No, that's a straight 6 motor. It looks like a Perkins. Huh. Interesting. Kind of a time capsule. And it's a shame because it'll probably go to the scrapyard today. I mean, who's going to want it? Jeez, it's hard for a fat man to get in. Yeah. There she is in all her glory. I don't understand the controls at all. I'd assume that's the throttle. This is probably the gear shift, but what pattern is there, you know? I don't know. It's got this bar. I guess it was probably meant for open station. Or does that do something? Don't know. Kind of a neat little combine. Look, it even had a monitor to tell you if stuff was turning. And fan adjust. This would be one of those things, if you had infinite space, it'd be cool to have just to say you had one, but that's not me. I don't think there's going to be any good deals to be had based on the stuff that I haven't won so far. Spoiler alert, I did not get that baler. I kind of came with that idea, and the equipment jockey that I get all that stuff from, like the Cushmans, he was bidding against me, so to heck with it. He can have it. It's a tilt bed trailer. There's some more New Holland history for John Bender. Silage blower, silage blower. There's a manure spreader over there. But stuff like this, I think it's cool. But what do you do with it? Somebody will buy it and it'll go to the scrapyard probably. And that one's in pretty decent-ish shape, it looks like. Me knowing nothing about them, I assume that I'm sure it's war, but hey, it was used. Whirl-a-feed. it does run despite its fancy wiring job. Not too bad either. That's nice. All right, Buddy the dog. Hey, what have you been doing all day? Looking around? Yeah. So anyway, I figure we might as well take a look at what I brought home. It's nothing really that I went to go get, but the truck is full nonetheless. I really kind of went for that 520 baler, but it brought more than what I wanted to give. The equipment jockey bought it, the same one that I get all my stuff from. So I don't know, it'll probably show up on auction time again, and I probably won't buy it there because he bid more than me, so he can just have it. But that is neither here nor there. I've lost many a baler before. I don't think that it's meant to be that I have an Oliver baler, but that's fine. So I got a bunch of miscellaneous little garbage. There were several other pieces of equipment I would have bought, but again, he got them all, and so that's fine. That little Ford that I owned at one time, I bid it up to like $750. It did not run again. The guy messed it up somehow. Said it needed a coil or something. And I have no idea if the same guy was selling it that I sold it to. It might have changed hands, whatever. But I didn't really want any more projects like that, so that's how she goes. I ended up with more stuff than what I wanted, but that's fine. They couldn't get anybody to buy these mirrors, and I'm getting a new school bus, so I usually use these like inside and mount them where I can see down the aisle. So I thought, hey, for $1, sure. Then they had these, I guess they're like ceramic logs, like you would have like in a phony gas fireplace. And the school's doing a play where they have a campfire scene. I thought maybe I could use these somehow and make it light up, or make it where it has that, you know, orange thing that flutters with something. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but again, it was like $1. But they made me take a box of some kind of nails with it, and I don't have a nail gun like that, so will Ross ever use these? I don't know, but they're brand new, so we'll table that. What else? Well, shall we go around to the other side first? We'll work our way from front to back of truck. So another thing they had hanging over the back of the wagon was this umbrella, and the whole unit, the cover and frame and the whole thing. And I've got some Oliver skins, but I don't have enough frames, so I thought I'll buy it for that, 50 bucks. That's as cheap as you could get that, so good. This little feller is just like the transfer pump I have that I like, and this motor's locked up, but the pump has good parts on it. And see, I cracked my housing one time, and then I set this aside, and then you bought a brand new pump, and I hate it. It's too heavy and whatever, so I went back to using this one. I found the pump pieces, and I paid a lot more for just half of a pump housing. Well, you saw it in that video. I made a video where I fixed it, I think, and I think I gave $20 for this whole thing. So there's some good parts on there to use. Plus, you know, more stuff sitting around here. Why wouldn't we have that? That brings us to this, which they had two of them, and Dad bought one and I bought one. Dad doesn't have a tank on it, and this one doesn't have booms, and it's got a hole in the side of it. But that works out good for me because I got it for $20. And what I'm thinking is spot sprayer rig, see? You know, put it behind like the 500 or that Ford and have more capacity than, you know, my little 15-gallon thing, because I hate having to run back up and fill her all the time. So he can have that. There's a roller pump down there. I don't know if that's any good or not, but we can take it apart and, you know, get it to go. We used to have to do that all the time with our other one. It would get stuck from having liquid in. But we can work on his and get it plumbed up where he can spray pasture and stuff with the littler sprayer than using my bigger one. And I don't know that I'm even going to replace this tank. I think if a guy would get a big bung I could just cut a hole in here, bolt that in and put a plug in it and not worry about the tank. I'm gonna fill it full of water and make sure that it holds water, you know, halfway down. And if that's the case, that's exactly what's gonna happen. I'll cut that to a round hole, put a bung in it, and you know, I don't think it's cracked there. I think it just got ate into a little bit. We can slather up some stuff on there or something and make that happen. So that's exactly what I've been looking for. And like I said, $20 bill, absolutely. I'll use the electric pump off my little sprayer, because when you're doing spot spraying, that's all you need. You don't need a fancy PTO thing. Then another thing, I guess the final thing that I bought, just because I saw it on the pictures the other day, and I saw 2 of them, and then today when I got there were actually 4 of them. I said that I kind of had a fondness for the old home light saws, so I bought 4 more of them, which consequently nobody really wanted them. So I didn't give, I think I gave 10 bucks a piece for them, you know. I started too high. One of them I gave $20 for, then the rest I gave a lot less for when I realized nobody wanted them. Shouldn't have started them too high, but some of them are supposed to run. This one's supposed to run, and I would say that this one runs. So you can kind of see the progression here, see, of stuff. And like with what I got, this is an XL12, which would have been like the first one they came out with that was the lightweight saw. I don't know. I'll have to look up years. We'll do videos on them or something someday when it's rainy and there's nothing else to do. But the XL12, I assume, stood for extra light, because it was a 12, I think it was 12 pounds, and that's how it got the number. It was a much different than like that big home light that I'm fixing. You know, you've seen direct drive saw. It's got a stack muffler on it, a little bit different sounding. And then you go down the progression of things, and you know, this is a Super XL, I believe. It's got an automatic oiler, and because I think it's a, or is it just a Super XL, not an automatic? Super XL, manual oiler probably. The only difference is they moved the oil tank up here, but it doesn't have the, yeah, see, it's just got a plug in it. So it's not an automatic oiler, but it is a Super, because they changed where they put the oil tank here from down underneath. Then you go on in time. This is a Super XL with automatic, which has an, yeah, Super XL automatic, which is automatic oiler. Basically the same saw as that, but with an automatic oiler, and newer slightly. Different style mufflers. That one had it too. Doesn't have the stack muffler. Although by this point in life, stuff probably has been replaced, and I'm not up on them enough yet to know all the differences. But basically, the point I'm getting at, this would have been like what Grandpa had way back in the day, and it would have been, it's basically unchanged. That old blue saw is almost identical to this. There's really nothing different on it. Most all these pieces I think would interchange with it, and it's still got a pretty nice bar where you can still see the writing on, so that's cute. That side really. Power tip bar, because you realize the first ones did not have that wheel at the end of them. So, you know, that was a thing they came up with later and realized, hey, that really helps. That 420 saw, you know, it just has a hard tip bar with, there's no wheel. It's just the chain just follows it around. And then this little feller, I don't know about it or how good it is. None of them are stuck, and they all seem to have compression, so they seem like maybe they might possibly have, you know, life to be brought back into them if I'm so motivated. This is a super easy automatic oiler. Anyway, yeah, and Dad told me he actually had one of these back in the day. He bought one when they were in between saws, and the old timers were too cheap to buy another one, so they just went back to hand sawing, and he said enough of that, so he bought one of these. And it's considerably lighter than the Super XLs, but not nearly as big a horse either, so little bitty feller. But 4 more old saws, just because, hey, they don't cost that much money, and they're something to collect, you know. I like stuff with engines, and you know, when I don't have to depend on it, it's a lot different. It's just like if you want to farm with old tractors, that's all well and good. But if you have to depend on them, it's not nearly as much fun when they break down and whatever. You know, I'm not going to use these to cut wood all day. I might fire one up and take it out and saw up a few things and then go back to my modern saws, you know, which are half the weight and low vibration. But they look kind of neat when you see all this stuff. You know, you got to have the whole set. You can't just have one of anything. So I got a pretty good representation of their history, I think, with the ones I already had and these. And I bought one off the internet. Yeah, I got ate up with these saws pretty quick. So I found the book that Great Grandpa had for a saw. He actually had an older one than that 420. And it was a 26 LCS, which is the second saw they ever made, I believe. And it has a float bowl carburetor. And you actually, if you wanted to do the felling cut, you had to turn the handle so the carburetor stayed level. So when that gets here, we'll do a video on that, because that's kind of a neat thing too. I mean, you can see how they evolved from, basically Homelight started with an electric saw, believe it or not, because they sold generators, and that's how it got the name Homelight. And they had a saw attachment that was popular. Electric saws, then they made the 26 LCS, or they actually made a 26, no, what was it? A 20 MCS, motorized chainsaw. And then they went to the 26 LCS, and then so on and so forth down the line. And then, like I said, when they came out with this one, this design basically stayed the same from the 60s up until the late 90s when they quit making them. So that's a pretty long run for anything. But there we go. I didn't spend a ton of money today, and that's fine. Consequently, there was also no good internet service, so you didn't get a video today. And I didn't win some things on the internet that I was bidding on because I couldn't do anything with my phone. So that's the way life rolls sometimes, but hey, you know, what are you going to do? So I guess we'll call this one here. And we got plenty more projects to work on, like we really needed more stuff to do, but you got to buy it when it's available. You can't buy it when it's not. So we'll get tackling this stuff probably the day we need to use it, because that's pretty well how she rolls. But until next time, we'll leave it here. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.